Leo, welcome to your November 2018 love reading. I'm Raina and shuffling the cards. Boom. There's your card. There's your card too. Well, at least I think that's your card. All right. Oh. The heart of the matter is the Sun card, and you're ruled by the Sun, and the Sun rules the 5th house of romance. This is significant if you're single because your 5th house is Sagittarius, a fellow fire sign. And in November, Jupiter goes into that 5th house on November 8th. And Jupiter in the 5th house can mean that you have many opportunities for love. If you're single and you're looking, it can be a really great time to be able to sit and take your pick of the litter over the course of the next 13 months. Now, if you are somebody who is, it seems like there's someone in your life, even if you're somebody who is, I'm getting from this particular scenario that you've been waiting for this. You know, this is at the base of the reading. And the Hangman, it can be like either you're just somebody who is being patient and waiting for love, or that there is a specific relationship that you're in and there's a waiting period. So maybe that person has not gotten divorced and you said, nope, I'm not going to have a relationship until I see your divorce papers. Or I'm not going to be dealing with you until I get divorced. But I feel like you're waiting on somebody else for some reason. And let's look at the card that's the challenge. The Queen of Wands. It's supposed to be that this connects with Sagittarius, but come on, she's holding a sunflower. It's definitely fire energy. And the other fire sign is Aries. This can be a situation, queens can be mothers. So if you're with somebody who has a baby mama, who has some relationship, a connection with someone else because they share a child. This woman may even be the one, maybe they're not even together, but as soon as she found out that he was seeing you, all of a sudden she's like in the picture again. I mean, I could see something like that because this woman, in the challenge position, this woman is a real handful, a drama queen. But the thing is, it would be way too easy for you, Leo, to get sucked into this too, because you like a good drama too. And you have to remember that even if you're like a woman and this man is claiming that, oh, you know, she's really pathologically jealous and I don't want to be with her, but she's just giving me a hard time and we have a kid together. Be very careful, because he could be feeding both of you a bunch of bull to get both of you fighting over him. This is not something that is beyond the pale in terms of it happening. This could totally be the scenario that is going on. And with the Sun card, you may feel like this is the person for you, but you have to make sure that this person is acting honorably. Because I'm telling you, you don't want to get into anything where there's a third party involved, and this person is, it could be, you know, especially if this is somebody that a person you're interested in shares a child with, that child has to be really taken care of in terms of not having the adults create chaos around the child. The other thing too is that until the middle of the month we have Venus retrograde, so that means you could see somebody from your past come in. I see a card here that could be like reuniting with a former partner. So maybe this, I'm seeing this as more of a recent situation, but who knows? Maybe it's not. Maybe you always wanted to be with somebody who ended up marrying somebody else. The higher message is the Eight of Wands. And this is kind of like, oh, what is that? What is that expression in physics, or that term? Oh, what is that term? Where it's like potential energy. Potential energy. And basically, what I see with this Eight of Wands, and this is on the energetic level, is that something is ready to be unleashed. And it's almost like you have to do something in order to get the ball rolling. Now, this card right here is a passive card. And this can be like that you have gotten sucked into a situation where you are almost like suckered into a situation where you have been waiting for somebody who may be kind of stringing you along and declaring that they love you. And once you, if that's true, and if you know in your heart of hearts that this person is really playing you in some way, maybe playing you and another person to try to be like the center of your existence. The sun can be like, you know, is the center of everyone's existence. Well, maybe this person's on an ego trip. But once you let that go, if that's what's happening in your particular scenario, then everything can progress. Like, it's like it creates an opening for new things to come in. Because I'm noticing the contrast between that Hangman, where you're in suspension, you're waiting, and maybe even feeling in limbo, and the Eight of Wands, which is like fast-paced events all of a sudden. And, you know, kind of on the mundane level, we're looking at the Two of Cups on the literal life unfoldment level. Not the symbolic level, but the actual level. Two of Cups. So it's possible that you hear back from somebody from your past. And this could even be because the Venus retrograde begins in October in your 4th house of home and family, and goes back into the 3rd house of the internet and all, you know, forms of communication, and also your local area. So if you have any plans in October, because I know a lot of you probably going to be watching this in October, of any kind of travel to your hometown, or connection with your mother's side of the family. This could bring, maybe this is like a high school sweetheart, so it's from the same hometown. Maybe this whole scenario, because remember, this is for November. This could be for Thanksgiving if you're, I know that Canada has like their own Thanksgiving. I don't know if it's based on the same principles, but because you even call, do you have pilgrims? I mean, there are Europeans. Well, anyway, that's, why do I, this is your brain on ADD. So the holidays, in North America, we have holidays beginning in November where people touch base with their family, go back to their hometown. The only problem is, though, that Thanksgiving is happening towards the end of the month, and that's after the Venus retrograde. Venus goes direct in the middle of the month. So it would have to be something that you're just doing because you happen to, go home or what have you, and then you run into somebody that you knew back in high school or what have you, maybe even associated with one of your brothers or sisters. Because it's going to go in those two houses. First in the fourth, and then in the third house, which can be your siblings. And maybe it's not even somebody that you were romantic with. Maybe you had a crush on your older brother's best friend, and you run into him somehow when you go back home. And then you guys declare your undying love to each other. But again, perhaps this is separate from the Venus retrograde I'm sorry, separate from those houses and just talking about you getting back together with an old partner. And one thing to always remember is that it's very romantic to kind of reunite with somebody, but you have to make sure that something has changed. Because reuniting without any kind of discussion, oh yeah, did you ever take care of that drinking problem that separated us the first time? Oh yeah, what about that guy that you were seeing, that you were cheating on me with? Have you stopped seeing him? Oh, that's good. I'm glad that you stopped seeing that person that you were cheating on me with. Yeah, maybe it will work this time. That sort of thing. What is coming in is represented by the Ten of Swords. This is a card of betrayal. And so definitely with some people, the idea of reuniting may seem romantic, but the reality could lead to more heartbreak, could lead to more disillusionment. And what I see when I have that card about what's coming in, you can also look at it as a cautionary tale. If you reunite with somebody, but there's no sense of discussion of what drew you apart, that will likely lead to getting betrayed, because the person might be like one of those narcissists that ghost you and then love bomb you, try to come back into your good graces, because it's all a game to them. It's all about their supply and their trying to control the narrative and feel like they are powerful. And if you're not careful, it's way too easy to fall prey to that, getting fooled by it again. Like that Who song, won't get fooled again. Well, you might get fooled again if you just completely throw caution to the wind and don't even question if that person is willing to change and if they understand why the relationship ended. Or if it's on your end, if you feel like you made the mistake in the relationship, have you changed? Are you willing to do things differently? The outcome, Knight of Swords. I think that this is you. I think that you are becoming much more assertive. I know that sounds weird because Leo tends to be quite, I mean, sometimes a Leo person might even be overbearing. But in love, I mean, I always go back to Whitney Houston, who was a Leo. And Whitney Houston, I think she even had a moon in Aries. So she had a lot of that masculine energy, that real aggressive energy. But she had Pisces rising. Sometimes Leos in love, that's where they're vulnerable. And that's where they have a blind spot sometimes. And so this can make you, the Knight of Swords can make you a lot more like, I think also discerning, where it's like you're going to just like cut to the chase. No, if somebody is acting a certain way, you're not going to tolerate it. With the last two cards, both being swords, the person in question could be an air sign, could be a Gemini, could be the opposite sign of Leo, Aquarius, or a Libra. And you might just be kind of like done with this person, and you may feel like you've got their number. And that you might even tell them, I have your number, and you're the one that just ends it. And then, and who knows, maybe this is all the same person, and it doesn't have to do with reuniting. This card could be that the person has actually reunited with their ex that they have a child with, whether or not they've told you that. And that's the betrayal. And you find out and you're like, okay. And you're okay because you know the deal. And you know what this person's about. And you're not going to waste any more time hanging around for them to do it to you again the third time. Okay. Leo, that's what I have for you. And I don't have any illusions that this is going to apply to all of you. So maybe, I hope, some of it does. But if you'd like a private reading where I actually look at your natal chart and maybe that of another person and really pinpoint things more specifically, check out my link, which is below. And otherwise, have an awesome month. Bye.